Hey, so when I first started this YouTube channel, I pretty much wanted it exclusively to be about writing, about, crafting a novel, polishing it, then publishing it. And I really haven't done much of putting videos out there about it in a long time. I think the last thing was like a couple like self-help writing tips, and I just realized my heart wasn't in it. I don't enjoy sticking to something, like being tied down to something. And I put out a couple book reviews that I enjoyed doing, but I realized I didn't want to do that like full time. Like that's not my real objective. My real objective is to write. And so if you don't know, my name is Topp. I've written 3 books. The latest one is The Rise of Devils, which just came out in April, and I'm writing my third of a trilogy. So it's Knights Without Kings, The Twin Princes, and then I'm writing the finale to that trilogy to just end it, on a perfect note, have that trilogy complete so I can move on to other projects and, make another trilogy and a duology. And anyway, obviously, because I'm an artist, I have plans that will never end because that's just how it is for writers like myself. But lately, I've been doing a lot of reading, and I read 3 books in the matter. Well, I finished 1 book and read 2 others in the matter of a month. And I put my reviews on Goodreads, which I have a link down below. What else did I read? Then I read EVE Online, which is a great, fantastic sci-fi, and I just finished reading today Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. So I'm just basically giving this as a prelude to say that I want to read more books and do reviews on those that I enjoy. I'm not going to be sticking to what's popular now, or like if it's based on a movie that's coming out, doing a book on the movie. I was going to do it on the Meg, and then I realized that my heart wasn't in it, and when my heart's not in something, I just don't do it, and that's just the way it is. But to the topic at hand, which is Jurassic Park, I've been interested in reading this book for the longest time. So this won't necessarily be a book review, more of my opinions on the book. I will talk about certain things that do happen in these books, so there will be spoilers. But so from now on, whenever I talk about a book and put out a review, it's more going to be my opinions on the topic, and then I'll also be briefly speaking on the movies if there is any other media. So for example, Jurassic Park has the movies. I'm gonna be talking about that here in a little bit. And then I have a project at the end that I'm really excited to talk about, and that is also has a video game accompanying it. So I will be touching that briefly. But for starters, what you came here today for was Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park, in my opinion, on the novel. And let me tell you, this novel is incredible. See, I grew up watching the movies, as most people have, didn't even realize it was based on a book. And then I watched a video talking about, and I really wish I could remember who that video was about, because I would definitely link them down below. If I find them, I'll link them down below, so you'll be able to see it. But it basically talks about how the book is a lot darker than the movie. So then I was like, okay, well, how so? It's more of a horror, and it mentions a couple scenes that happen really quickly in the first chapters of the book, where these small dinosaurs, they're called compies, and the book calls them procompsognathids. They're like the small lizards that stand on 2 feet. They're in a nursery and they're eating a baby, and it's pretty dark, obviously, and it's very graphic. But that like instilled that like horror aspect, and I was like, wow, okay, so I wonder what else is in there that wasn't in the movies, because the movies were adapted to be very much the masses friendly. In the Goodreads review that I put, I said that Steven Spielberg did an amazing job adapting this for the masses to be able to be consumed by anyone of all ages, right? The book is definitely not designed for all ages. It's a mature science fiction horror book, and it really stays true to that. But what's really fascinating about it is how different it is from the movies, but that's okay. Usually when you say that a book is different from a movie, or the movie is different from the book, usually it has a negative connotation, just because there's like a drop in quality depending on the medium, right? And here there is no drop in quality, I guess I could say. There's a surge in quality when it comes to the book. Michael Crichton's vision is absolutely stunning. He did so much research when it comes to portraying these dinosaurs, certain behaviors. It's just stunning how detailed, and he came up with all these scenarios, and like it just seems like it just seems like such a real accounting of the Jurassic Park event, and the characters are totally different. John Hammond is an absolute asshole. He does not give a about anything or anyone. All he cares about is his vision of making a zoo about dinosaurs, and then he proceeds to dump millions, billions, probably, yeah, billions into this island to create like a zoo experience, and he's counting on these dinosaurs behaving like zoo animals, like like a tiger or a lion. And then Ian Malcolm, which is he's one of my favorite characters in Jurassic Park. He's just so cool, man. He basically comes along and with this chaos theory, and the whole step of the way is saying why this is stupid, this is a bad idea. You can't predict the way these animals behave, and there's your absolute hubris is why this place will fail. And sure enough, that's really the message of this book, and it just resonated so well. It's like counting on these things that you know to be certainties is what causes chaos to happen, because when you know it's a certainty is when it fails you as a certainty. That theme is just so incredible, to the point where certain things happen towards the end of the book where you already have this theme kind of ruminating in your brain, and a character goes, "Oh yeah, I'll go over here to this cabin, and I'll turn on the electricity, no problem. It'll be here. It'll be done in 5 minutes." And as a reader, you're thinking to yourself, "Bro, chaos theory. It's not going to work out." And sure enough, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work out. So like those things that you hold as certainties, that's where failure will happen. And so like I said, Michael Crichton is just an incredible writer. And so if you're considering reading Jurassic Park, please do yourself a favor. It is a fantastic science fiction. If you like horror, science fiction, that combination, it's perfect. Now to kind of touch base on the current media, which is the Chris Pratt movies, I feel like they're again so adapted for the masses that they're sterilized. And here's the thing, is that you have people being eaten by dinosaurs. And I love Chris Pratt, by the way. I think he's a fantastic actor. But in these movies, he's just accompanied by a cast that is so millennial. Their humor is so millennial. Their dialogue is extremely cringy, and it just sucks all the tension out of the scene. And so whenever like we were watching Fallen Kingdom, because I watched the first Chris Pratt, and I was like, well, I didn't see the others. I was just so not interested after the first one. So I started watching Fallen Kingdom, and within the first 20 minutes, I'm rolling my eyes. These guys are just bad actors, and maybe the actors. And it's not the actors' fault either. It's the writers. Whoever adapted this, just I don't know. That's the problem with millennial writers, right? They think they can do better than the source material that is based on the source material that made this thing famous to begin with. Directors like Steven Spielberg pay homage to Michael Crichton and his novels, and the same thing with Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. He pays homage to the source material, and that direction, that vision is lost now in favor of these millennial idiots, people my age, who think they can do better than these writers. And the truth is that they can't. Whoever directed and wrote the current Jurassic Park trilogy is just not really following that vision that Michael Crichton put out. And I saw a video, it was a tweet, I think it was a tweet, that said, "I really enjoyed Jurassic Park after I turned my brain off." And it's like, well, for some media, it may be like part of the experience to turn your brain off and to just consume it and then have a good time. That's okay. That there's a place for that, right? But when it comes to Jurassic Park, I think Michael Crichton didn't want you to do that. I think he wanted you to engage with the content, and like I'm telling you, the details that he put in this book, it'll resonate you if you are like scientific / medically based. Like for example, in the first few chapters, they get the body of this dinosaur, which they think is a lizard. They're like, "There's no way," like, because obviously, why would you think it's a dinosaur, right? And this X-ray technologist, this technician, that's my job, right? I do this job. I do X-rays on people at a hospital. And so this X-ray tech grabs the thing, takes an X-ray of it, and sends it off. And I don't know, it was just so unique because I didn't expect that to be there as a part of the story. A person in my profession, which a lot of people don't even know is a profession, even in the medical field, just so you know. So it's super cool to see that aspect in this book. So I would give this book it's a solid 10 out of 10, man. And maybe I give 10 out of 10s pretty easily, but I mean, it's my opinion. I do what I want, and I think I would highly recommend this to anybody who is interested in this type of novel. So that's all I have for today. So back to what I was going to announce at the beginning of this video. I'm going to read this book, Exodus by Peter F. Hamilton. So Exodus is this video game that's coming out in the next couple of years, I hope, and it's the people who did Mass Effect, the original trilogy, are the ones who are working on this project. And there's a trailer down below on the video game, but I read that the lead writer of this video game wrote this book called Exodus: The Archimedes Engine, and that's like a tie-in novel to the video game. So naturally, when I learned that, I ordered myself a copy. So things like this, that's what interests me, and that's what I'm excited about. So I'm gonna read this book. I'm gonna put a review out here on YouTube, and then whenever the game comes out in a couple of years, and obviously if there's more books than that, I'll definitely read them and review them, put them on Goodreads, put them here, just talk about it in general. And then when the game comes out, I want to see how well that fits with the vision and the feel of the novel. Basically, that's my goal with doing this. I want to read books that interest me. I don't want to read book just because, hey, the movie's coming out and I think that might bring me popularity. Well, I don't really care about that. I don't need that. But I do want to talk about things that I'm interested in. So maybe this is it. Oh, and by the way, I was trying to do the chroma key for this, and so it kind of looks weird, but I think I like it. I think I'm just going to keep on doing this. So, but anyway, I'll catch you later. Peace.